Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live, Tuesday night college football week 3 wrap-up edition. Now, as you can see, the faces are a little different here tonight. Normally, we have my main guy, Ryan Langford, former Division I and, FBS, we should say now, former FBS, NFL, and CFL wide returner and kick return specialist. However, he wasn't available tonight, so I got a very worthy replacement, and that, of course, is Mr. Sneed. Got what you need, SMT Media Network. What's good, Sneed?
Good to be here, Bruce. Let's do it, man. Midweek college football show. Let's do it.
For sure. Yes, let's get it. So we are going to talk some college football tonight. We got some good topics to get into, and I know that there are some people who have been waiting to hear what I have to say about Notre Dame losing to Texas A&M. So we're going to get into that. I purposefully haven't really talked about it much since Saturday. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to give my thoughts. We're also going to talk about the big game in the SEC last Saturday between Georgia and Tennessee. Really exciting game that didn't really resemble much of an SEC game. Looked more like a Big 12 game.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. And, of course, we are going to talk about the biggest name in college football, and that is, of course, the one and only Arch Manning, and what the hell is going on in Austin with that guy. So we're going to get to all of that. Looking forward to it. But before we do, you know what we got to do. Let's give a shout out to the channel members, of course. Number one channel member, Coach T of the Be Ready Sports Podcast. So definitely want to give him a shout out with our Coach T, Be Ready Sports Podcast. And in order to be ready, you got to stay ready.
Got to.
Mm-hmm. So if you haven't already, make sure after this, when you're done watching this show, go over to the Be Ready Sports Podcast, give him a like, give him a subscribe, hype his videos, do whatever you got to do, man, because he is really working at giving us an opportunity to see the next generation of sports stars who we might be talking about here on the Format Podcast one day. So we love that. Good stuff. Giving back, Coach T. Also, it's not that serious. What's good? It's not that serious. Good to see you. Good to see you. Appreciate all the support, man. Thank you for always being here. Next up, Chief Sid Bubba. What's going on, Chief? How are you? Thanks to you. Thanks for everything you've done. Shout out to the boys from Annapolis. Yes, sir. My main man, Chief.
The song. You ain't singing the song.
I'm not singing the damn song. You know I'm not singing that song. I will not ever sing the Navy song. No.
But you remember, what was it, bro? Or no, it was Hustle Man from our Not Happening, Chief.
Right. Me? Sing that song?
Not gonna be able to do it.
Nope. Not at all. We'll leave that for Transformer.
Long live the Chief, though. Shout out to
Long live the Chief, for sure. Definitely. And of course, shout out to Baltimore Bruce. What's going on, Bruce? Yeah, appreciate it. Always harassing me in the DMs, but that's good, man.
Dropped a comment on one of my most recent videos, man. Appreciate you,
for sure. Yes. So also make sure you go ahead. Check out the SMT Media Network channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to that as well. Sure. All right. So I'm going to get a spiel, and then we're going to go ahead and get right to it, get into this college football talk. Y'all know what time it is. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast. We should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us a like, leave us a 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. Make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, make a note of it. The Format Podcast is live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And finally, if you're really and truly enjoying the content we're delivering you, make sure you hit that join button. There's going to be exclusive content here just for you. You.
And you.
Just for you. Make sure you hit that button, man. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and let's get to it. All right. First topic. So, again, I know that people have been kind of waiting. Not that I'm that important or anything, but being, the diehard Notre Dame fan on this channel, I'm sure that people were waiting to hear what I had to say. So obviously Notre Dame starts off 0-2 on the season after losing the opener to Miami. Talked about that. And then losing the home opener to Texas A&M, giving Texas A&M their first road win over a ranked opponent like since 79, I think. Wow. It was crazy, the number. Yeah. So they go into Notre Dame Stadium and they win the game 41-10. And I'm sorry, 41-40, not 41-10. And this one was really, I guess it was a tough loss because you saw it go back and forth. You saw some real, you saw the indication, right?
Yes.
That Notre Dame can be a really good team. Now, here's the problem with Notre Dame. If you're not a Notre Dame fan, you probably won't notice this, but it seems like the Irish can never get everything at the same time, right? Last year, dominant defense, right? One of the best defenses in the country. We know that, right? Elite secondary, number one passing efficiency defense in all of football. Elite special teams, not so elite offense, right? Able to run the football effectively, but the passing game was limited, right? So this year they come back, arguably the best running back room in the country, national runner-up after losing in the title game. Just, a lot of things in place, right? Excitement about the recruiting, excitement about who they brought in the transfer portal. Looks like they have a much received wide receiving core, a quarterback who hadn't started any games yet in CJ Carr, but he's a guy that looks like he can threaten the field probably the best since DeShone Kizer, who coincidentally played for the Browns, right. or going back a little further, Jimmy Clausen, right? You hadn't seen a guy with this kind of arm talent at Notre Dame in quite some time. So now you're thinking, okay, if the defense can pick up where it left off, Notre Dame has one of the elite special teams units in the country. And now you're adding the viability of a better passing game, right? Okay, cool. So you're thinking all that can come together and the Irish can be a very dangerous team this year. A lot of people very high on them. And well, you're seeing some of that come to fruition. You're seeing CJ Carr doing a better job being able to stretch the ball down the field. Getting some chunk plays in the pass game. The first game the Irish did a very poor job of getting the ball in the hands of their two elite running backs enough, right? Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love. The second game, you saw they made a much more concerted effort to do that. So this is tough, right? Because now it's like, okay, wait a minute. The defense, which was Notre Dame's calling card last year, can't stop a nosebleed. Give up 28 in the first game against Miami and give up 41 against Texas A&M. They made Marcel Reed look like, I don't know who he looked like out there, but, only 17 of 37 in his completions, but for 360 yards, 21 yards of completion, right? They made his wide receiver, Craver, look like, I don't know. He had more than 200 yards receiving, I think about $170 in the first half alone. I mean, absolutely cooking him, finding soft spots in the zone and doing amazing things. And to me, this was a concern of mine going into the season was what the Irish would do minus Xavier Watts, minus Benjamin Morrison, right? Now, Benjamin Morrison missed about half the year with injury last year. That's what allowed Leonard Moore to step in and become a freshman All-America cornerback and the third best cornerback in the country last year and arguably the best returning cornerback in the game this year. But when you don't have Xavier Watts, who led the country in interceptions in the past 2 years with 13, already has one in the NFL in his first two games. And, not only was he taking the ball away, creating extra possessions for the Irish offense, he was also, like being the leader of the back end of the defense. He was everywhere. He was also involved in run stopping. He was just one of those guys, right? So when you lose that type of thing, I had a feeling it would hurt. I didn't know it would be this bad. Then you combine that with losing Al Golden, who was I can't remember the name of the award, but he won the award for number one assistant coach in the country last year. You lose him. He's gone on to become Cincinnati Bengals defensive coordinator. Okay. You can't be mad at that, right? He's got an opportunity to take a coordinator job in the NFL. He's going to do that. Yeah. So lose all of this. Yeah, it's a lot to try and overcome, right? You lose your running backs coach, Dylan McCullough. He's now in the league with the Los Angeles Raiders. Right. You lose your GM. He's now with your rival, USC. Now they did a good job replacing all those things. They get the running backs coach, Jaywan Sider from Penn State, who had an elite running back room himself last year with Nick Singleton and the names are escaping me, but he had and Katron Allen. At Penn State, you get your new GM from the Detroit Lions. So, I mean, they did a really good job for the most part replacing it, but you replace Al Golden with Chris Ash, who was formerly in the NFL. He was the defensive coordinator on Ohio State when you guys won the championship back in 2014 with Urban Meyer. Head coach at Rutgers, absolutely terrible as a head coach, but nobody succeeds at Rutgers in football, right? It's just one of those things. But the point I'm trying to make is Notre Dame lost a lot, and it seems to have really hit them, right? And here's the problem, though. When you're a team that shows that you're one of those teams, you have to expect, obviously, you're going to lose players to the league every year. And people are going to come and try to poach your coaching staff. So you have to be able to survive that and still go on and be effective. But the point is, I know I'm rambling here. I'm just trying to give my overall feelings on what's going here before I get to you, Sneed, is that Notre Dame is now 0-2. And I guess they're ranked number 24 in the AP now, which I would say is a sign of the respect that people still have for them and what they've seen, combined with the two teams they've played in the early part of the season. Miami is ranked number 10 right now. A&M is number 16. So I guess it's just frustrating for me. Like, you're finally seeing some of the things you wanted to see as an Irish fan with the increase in the receiving core, the increase in the quarterback position. But then the thing that was your calling card, that elite defense, is nowhere near what it once was. And you're wondering, how do you fix this? How does it get back to what it needs to be? Are you too far out now to climb back into playoff contention? I don't think so, but they're going to need some help, man. Where are you on all this, Sneed? I know I talked a lot.
Yeah, so Bruce, you brought up the competition. Those are good teams they lost to. Teams that could score points, teams that are going to move the ball, teams that, compete against good teams. They're going to show out, they're going to, bring it. But
excuse me.
I think, unfortunately for Notre Dame, this is a timing issue. The things that you listed, you were really very detailed, like fine-tooth comb. You make sure you mention everything.
Right.
In October, they could win one or two of these games.
Right.
In November, maybe they win both of these games because of the things that you mentioned, like giving the new guys just time, like time in practice, time in terms of gameplay, time in the experience and the together part, like just calling games. You mentioned some of the guys on the coaching staff, players who are kind of coming into new roles. Maybe playing Miami week 1 was too much to ask. Maybe playing Texas A&M or and getting in a shootout, maybe it was too much. Like, maybe these games would have ended differently if they were a month from now or 2 months from now. Maybe Notre Dame wins them because of all the things you named. So I want to obviously speak to the ranking part. Notre Dame is ranked 24, and they've got 2 losses. And, they're both to ranked teams. One of them is a top 10 team. The other one is a top 5 team. So, and they were in those games. They lost 2 games by a combined 4 points. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. 4 points is a field goal and a safety.
Yeah.
So it's just, they're hard losses.
They are.
They're not bad losses. They're hard losses. Bad losses are when you get cooked. You lose by 3 scores. You're not in the game in the second half. The doors are blown wide open. That never happened to Notre Dame. In fact, there were stretches of both of these games where Notre Dame looked like they were going to turn the corner and win the game and, have a chance to close the deal. It's just a tough situation, man. And you think about the ranking. We talked about the competition. Committees, fans, the national media, they know college football is better when Notre Dame is good, when they're ranked highly and they're winning games.
Right.
And so, like, they don't want this.
That's right.
They don't want Notre Dame losing both of their close games. They want, a win. They want 2 wins, and now they're going to get a chance to pile up some wins. Like, if we're just looking at the rest of September and then going into October, you basically are just priming up until you play, I would say, like your third best team of the season in USC mid-October, and that's a rivalry game. So but you're just tuning up like Boise State, NC State, Arkansas, Purdue, right? So you have a month of tune-up, and maybe this is your opportunity to address some of those defensive things. And I know it's not exactly the same as the NFL, but like for college kids, the week-to-week experience is pretty big. Some confidence and things like that. Yeah.
I agree. So I think part of it too is that, and you make a lot of great points here, Sneed. I'm thinking though, when you are the type of team that Notre Dame is trying to be, wants to be, and was on the verge of becoming, and maybe a lot of people in the know in college football thought that they were right on the cusp of becoming, you have to be prepared for that.
All right, Bruce, then tell me this, Bruce. Yeah. Who do you blame for the first week loss?
Oh man,
you have to give someone blame.
Yeah, I do.
Like had they have done one thing different, we would have had a different outcome of the game.
I think it was Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator.
Okay, and then week two.
Week two, I'm thinking it's Chris Ash, the defensive coordinator.
So far, you have switched roles between the 2 weeks, between the O coordinator and the D coordinator.
Yeah. Because I'll say in the first game against Miami, you could clearly see that Mike Denbrock was trying to get his young quarterback settled in, right?
But they didn't properly utilize their best weapons, which were the running backs.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. You're 100% right there. And so that's what I've been saying. I think it was almost too much of an effort.
Were they averaging 8 yards a touch or something crazy against Miami?
Yeah. So, but they weren't. Well, no, they weren't running it super effectively. They did have a couple of breakout runs, right? But they didn't give it to him enough. You could see that the goal was, so last year with Riley Leonard, obviously you saw it, especially we played you guys in the championship game. We weren't an outstanding downfield passing team, right? Riley Leonard, that's not really his game, but he was going to make plays with his legs at quarterback. So Denbrock, he loves to be able to go down the field, right? But you see now that he's got CJ Carr and he's got a guy that can push it down the field, and it's almost like he wants to play with his new toy paws. You know what I'm saying?
Forcing it a little bit.
Yeah, but the crazy part was in the first game he wasn't even doing that. It was a lot of stuff to the flat, like how they say, get those easy completions to get the quarterback's confidence up. But it was too much of that.
But it led to 3 and outs, and it led to stale drives that didn't produce any points.
That's right. Because I'm looking at it and I'm saying if you concentrate on getting the running game cranked up, really make that your focus, then that's easy for the young quarterback to play off of, right?
Always.
There you go. There you go. And so, that's how that's more so how I saw it. And then in the second game, it's like, okay, now they're starting to get good balance on offense. They're running the ball a lot more, but they're still taking the shots down the field. I think CJ Carr threw for about 290. So, good game by him. He's got a couple of bonehead picks, but it's going to happen. He's young, but good game overall. But yeah, the second game, the defense is like, yo, what is going on here? Like, I don't, man, just getting carved up in the passing game. Like we mentioned, I think, like I said, Marcel Reed, A&M quarterback, he went for 360. So very, very disappointing. And even you mentioned it before we got on.
Some of that could be like secondary communication.
It could be. It could be.
Like they might not be talking to each other. Like, look, we would have to look at some film.
Yeah.
But if we have a propensity for zone and we're getting cooked in zones and these, wide receivers are finding these little cushy spots in zones, it could also be on the lack of pressure. Sometimes corners are doing their job, but like you can only hold a good receiver for 3 seconds.
Right. So great point. So first thing, we're not getting enough pressure with the front four. No question. So got to find a way to make that better, whether it's stunts or,
a little bit of scheme and a little bit of.
Yeah, a little bit of scheme. So there's that. But also, to my eye, and again, I'm no expert with this, but to my eye, Notre Dame played some of the most man coverage in the country last year. That's a fact. This year, they look like they're mixing in a little too much zone. And I'm like, I don't like
right?
These guys are, say again?
New defensive coordinator,
yeah. But his whole thing was, I'm not going to change what worked. Now, I get it. He's going to tweak it a little bit. That's fine. But it seems like it does not look the same. Now, again, the personnel's not quite the same, obviously, but it doesn't look the same. It just looks like receivers are finding big holes in the zone and making plays. And then not only that, they're able to run after. Now,
that's going to kill you because that turns the play that's at like, the other team's 35, and now
That's
before you know it, 2 plays later, they're on your
Mhm.
35,
Yeah.
right? And they're guaranteed for 3 points, and they're getting in the red zone pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of what I was saying, Bruce. Like, new defensive coordinator. I don't want to call it experimental, but you're kind of building it while you're flying it in a way.
Yeah.
There's an element to that. I don't make excuses for coordinators, coaches, even for players. I try not to make excuses.
Mm-hmm.
But had they have won one of these 2 games, Bruce, this would be a very different conversation.
Yeah, a very different conversation.
Found a way to win one, especially if they would have won the most recent one, in which it was a shootout. The game against Miami wasn't a shootout.
No,
there was plenty of changing of possession on stalled drives, so definitely was not a shootout.
Mm-hmm. So, but before we kind of move on from this, I've been obviously being a Notre Dame fan. I'm looking at this from a Notre Dame perspective, but also got to give a big shout out to A&M, man. They went into the portal. They got some receiver help, and they definitely are more explosive this year at wide receiver than they were last year.
Yeah.
And they made plays, and as you can see, 41 points. The offense was explosive, and
their receiver play is better than their quarterback play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we said, the quarterback, he was only 17 for 37, but when these guys caught it, they made big plays. So it's tough. It's tough if you're an Irish fan. I don't know how you work through this. Again, the only thing you can say is now, based on what we did see last year, they are able to get on a run. So now there's no more room for error. They have to get on another one of those. It's unlikely.
I know, but I'm with you on that. Remember the conversation that you had with Transformer's like, no way, you don't have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree. Notre Dame has a chance. Maybe some other teams don't.
Mm-hmm.
But Notre Dame, the panache, the brand recognition of Notre Dame.
That's right. That's what he's forgetting.
Like
the money part of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I don't know that.
I would say the same thing about the Buckeyes. I would say the same thing about the Wolverines.
Yes,
I would say the same thing about USC. I would say like it's just that thing,
Yeah, there are certain teams that it's beneficial to college football if they end up in the CFP at the end of the year.
Find a way. Just
find a way.
Rip off a bunch of wins and then just be there at the end.
That's right. And that's not to say that the Irish aren't going to need help, and maybe some teams above them having some fluky losses, or the teams that beat them going on to having a really good season so that those close losses don't look so bad. Like now it's to the point where, if you're an Irish fan, you got to root for Miami the rest of the way. Like it would be great if Miami ends up winning the ACC title if you're a Notre Dame fan, right? Okay, you lost to the ACC champ by 3. It would be great if A&M gets to the SEC championship game. You lost to the SEC runner-up or the SEC champ by 1 point. You know what I'm saying? Those things look better, and then obviously you handle your business as well.
Now, to Transformers' credit in what he's saying, the schedule just doesn't have it as much, right? So, like you said, you're looking in the rearview mirror and saying, Miami continue.
Yes.
A&M.
Texas
A&M continue. And then USC, can they move up?
That's right.
Even after, because if you beat USC, you might knock them out of ranking.
Yeah.
So like, can they win games to keep themselves ranked? But
there you go.
It's Syracuse, it's Pittsburgh, it's Stanford.
That's why you wanted to come out strong with these 2 wins. And hopefully, obviously that's behind us now, but hopefully you get these 2 wins and then you go on the rest of the way, hoping that they will, step their game up and play well for the rest of the season. So, that's
maybe big point differential helps. They beat up the teams bad, and everybody's like, "Oh wow, they really fixed the offense," or whatever.
Yeah. That's the other part. Not only,
or maybe the defense. Maybe they get some shutouts. Maybe they start pick sixes. Maybe they start causing fumbles, being very disruptive. So check this out, Bruce. What if over the next month, all of a sudden, we see massive amounts of pressure, huge amounts of turnovers created from those pressures, and now the conversation about the defensive coordinator and the defensive performance is different. Then we're like, okay, holistically, this team looks very different than the first couple weeks. So maybe we have something.
Yeah, but you're always going to have the naysayers, and rightfully so, who are going to say, okay, we're seeing this against the Sisters of the Poor. Where was that against the better teams? So,
If we could sneak in
I see
and they
both
could play a
sides of the
better
argument.
team.
Yeah, no doubt, no
Try to
doubt.
sneak in and
I see both sides of the argument, man. We're gonna have to find out. Now we're gonna see what buttons Marcus Freeman can truly push to get the Irish to do what many thought they were capable of doing.
Bruce, I never understood why people didn't want to see certain teams in the playoff. Like, let's say they're like on the bubble. Like, let's say it's going to be Notre Dame at the end of the year. For the people who don't like Notre Dame, don't you want to see them get in and then get the brakes blown, like beat off them?
You'd think
so. Like, why do people have such an objection to them getting in?
There's a real irrational hatred of Notre Dame, and that's probably you could do an entire show on that. Right. My guy John Kennedy hosted the Always Irish Notre Dame football podcast. If you're a Notre Dame fan, check that out. Very entertaining stuff, very informative as well. But we've talked about that, for years now, on his show, on my show, offline. There is a truly irrational hatred of Notre Dame. Part of it early on was the anti-Catholic sentiment, but it's gone way beyond that. A lot of people, I think, to keep it as simple as possible, I think they see him as elitist, and they don't like that. Why don't you join
from the outside looking in? I've noticed that.
Well,
I see that at a lot of programs.
Yeah,
that's not unique.
Yeah, right. And then there's the hatred. There's the why don't you join a conference? Really? Okay, do your history on why Notre Dame isn't in a conference. I'm not going to get into all that, but it is what it is. Yes, Edward, I know. But yeah, so that's where we are, man. Shout out to Texas A&M on a huge win. Obviously, I would rather not be shouting them out on a huge win, but it was an incredible win. And if you're just a college football fan and not necessarily a Notre Dame football fan, it was a really exciting and entertaining game as well. Anytime you get a 41-40 game with the last touchdown being scored with 13 seconds remaining, impressive. Yeah. Didn't quite like how they handled that very, very last drive with 13 seconds left. I thought they should have gone to more quick game. Instead, CJ Carr was looking for something deep down the field and burned up almost the entire clock on the second to last play. I think that's coaching.
Both games, the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, we could have been sharper. We probably should have did this a little differently.
Right.
We dropped the ball here. Like,
right. Absolutely. So, that's what we got, man. That's what we got. So I will open up the phone lines and we'll take a quick call or two. We don't have too many people in the chat, but take a quick call if anybody wants to call in, and we'll see what they have to say about this. So,
are we down on CJ Carr?
No, not at all.
So like that's encouraging.
Huge upside.
We're not down on the running back room, which we knew was going to be a strength. If anything, we're down on some of the admin stuff, right?
Yes,
game admin things, and
Yeah.
just defense not really kind of holding up their end to the bargain.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. A big part of it is coaching. So we'll see where it goes from here. Again, first step is you're playing a Purdue team that's not great. They've got a first-year head coach, and I think 50+ new guys via the transfer portal on that team this year. They really completely remade the team. So that is a program you should be able to monkey stomp and get a little bit of good feeling back. Now, again, everyone's going to know it's Purdue. Where was this against A&M? Where was this against Miami? But you got to start somewhere.
And you were in those other games. So I would whatever the spread is, I'll take the over. You know what I mean? There's just no way that any, game flow coaching decisions are going to impact this game. No way. And I'll say the same thing for the next month.
Yeah,
for sure. With Arkansas and Boise State and NC State. Like,
right.
Their win differential, point differential might be plus 17 or something for the next month. Yeah.
Well, look, you're supposed to blow these teams out. Go do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's that. All right. Well, it looks like we're not going to get any calls on this topic.
So. Maybe we see some wrinkles. Some little nuance things that you're like, oh, okay, the coordinators are trying this, and maybe this carries over.
Yeah, well, we've already seen some of that. We're seeing some wildcat, which is not something I've seen in some years now. I'm like, What are they doing? What are they
I
doing?
remember the Wildcat back in the day.
I never understood how and why the Wildcat was so successful. Just digressing briefly, there wasn't but so much that you could do when you had a running back, lined up back there. That's the part I never got. Like, okay, why is it so hard to deal with this?
I remember, what was the guy? Was it Pat White?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day when they ran the Wildcat. Yeah, they ran the Wildcat, and then it carried over into the pros for Miami.
Yeah. They were.
There was like a big buzz for about
Mm-hmm.
half a season, 3/4 of a season.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, people just were watching film and they're just like, oh, here's what we read. Here's how our linebackers respond to this. They study it. They beat it.
Yeah.
What up, Micah? What up? Shout out to Micah.
What's going on, Micah? Appreciate you being here, brother. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's go ahead to the next topic. This was entertaining, man. I wish I was able to show you guys some B-roll of this, but unfortunately, man, college football is really it's hard to show footage of that without getting those.
Yo, they're sending copyrights, man.
Yeah, they don't play, man. I'm like, what? Like, I can't even. I don't know. Like, sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes what you do is like what I'll do is when I'll cut some video and then I'll just upload that piece that I cut to YouTube to see, okay, is this gonna get flagged?
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't, so I'll use it in my content. And like 2 months later, the flag will come out. And I'm like, yo, I checked this before I used it. What is this? Come on, man.
So that means whoever uploaded it changed it.
Mm-hmm.
Or something,
Yeah. But anyway, I was saying that because I would have loved to show you guys some footage of this, because this was a hell of a freaking game, man. Georgia and Tennessee. And this was another tight one. This was another shootout. And this was another one Sneed and I were talking about before we got started. This game looked more so like a Big 12 game than an SEC game.
Good football.
Before I run my mouth all night, man, what did you think of this one?
It was fun to watch. I mean, I was just watching scores, man. So, it opened with a lot of points. I think in the first quarter, it was 4 TDs.
Yeah.
So there was just lots of, and it was steady scoring. There were no like droughts or anything. Game went to overtime. Yeah. That's exciting. You get to see some of these guys playing under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
The Bulldogs ended up getting the win. Obviously, a top 5 ranked team, you're really trying to stay in there. A loss probably moves you out of the top 10. So, they were able to pull it off. And Gunnar Stockton, 300 yards, 2 TDs. Joey Aguilar, 371 yards, 4 TDs, but did throw 2 picks. And you have to think to yourself, had they have made, taking better care of the ball,
right,
maybe we have a different outcome, right? Like maybe it's them on the other side, right? Yeah. Right. So, and then running the ball, it just wasn't really important to the game. It just, it didn't matter. Chris Brazzell, 177 yards on 6 receptions. Crazy. That means they're just bombs away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he had
that's always been the scheme Josh Heupel runs, man. They go downfield.
The shots down the field.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, we saw that since he was the OC at UCF under Scott Frost. And then when he took over as head coach at UCF, and then now he's here. But yeah, they definitely take shots downfield. They have no shame in that. I love the fact, again, because I'm old school and I love this type of football, I love that Georgia did not go away from the run. They ran this thing 55 times for $198. Now, the average isn't high, but they were like, no, we will continue to run the football and we don't care what you say, because that keeps us balanced, right? You get almost 200 on the ground and then you get 300 through the air. Like,
I got a stat for you though, Bruce.
Yeah.
All those dropbacks between these two teams, right?
Okay.
Like 3.5 sacks between the two teams. So like they weren't getting to the quarterback. Right, these were some pretty clean looks down the field.
Great point.
And if you don't get in a quarterback's face, if you're not disrupting, throwing off timing, they're gonna find guys.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I hadn't even thought of that.
How else are you gonna get 85 points in a game? They're not hitting the quarterback.
Sacks. 1 for Georgia, which is unusual, and 4 for Tennessee. You would have thought that would have been backwards. Yeah. Here's a question. I got a question for you, Sneed. So remember, just a couple of years ago, we saw Georgia look like one of the absolute meanest, most vicious teams we'd ever seen in college football. Not necessarily offensively, but that defense was an absolute nightmare to go against. And
Well, the
Most of those
defense
guys
was
are in
getting
the
the
league
ball
now.
back to the offense all the
Yeah.
time. So like Beck was like had all types of chances.
Yeah, and you couldn't move the ball at all. You couldn't run, you couldn't pass. There was nothing you could do.
Stiff.
And yeah, most of those guys are in the league now. It seems like half of them play for the Eagles. But so my thing is Georgia, although they're 3-0, they do not look like the same dominant Georgia team anymore. They didn't last year. They don't this year. They're still very good.
Yeah.
They're well coached. They got a lot of talent, but they do not look like the same team. So I guess my question to you is, do you think that, they got their 2 chips, those back to back, and, they made a number of playoff runs from the 14 playoff and then into the 12-team playoff. Do you think their window is closed in terms of championships or no?
Not necessarily. They might just have to win in a different way. Right. So, in the coming month, you have games against Ole Miss, Auburn, Bama this week. So you've got some pretty stout competition. Probably the game. Week? Yeah, Bama is this week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or no, they have a bye and then they have Bama.
Okay, I was like, I checked.
They have a bye week and then it's Alabama. Yeah.
Because this week is not that great on the schedule, but go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that. Kind of like a break in the action.
Yeah, they gave us everything week 1.
Right, yeah, but the game in the middle of November, Texas at Georgia.
That's going to be big.
Yeah, and then the game against Georgia Tech, of course, at the end of November, and then you kind of see where things shake out for the playoff.
That's right.
But yeah, man, they might just have to be different. It might just be a different identity for this team. Every year has a different circumstance and different conditions and different things play out. Might just be different, Bruce. So they might just have to win in a different way. Kind of who they become and who they are could be 2 different things. What they look like at the end of the year. But you're finding ways to win, so you don't really have to question too much. Now, if they're winning on lucky plays, then it's a legitimate concern. You're like, okay, well, if the ball bounces a different way, that's a loss. But they're, in my opinion, I mean, these are good victories. So
yeah, I would say so. But most coaches not only want to win, but they want to win their way. And so, Kirby Smart being, a defensive coordinator, growing up under Saban and all that, that he is not a guy that's interested in winning a 44-41 overtime shootout, right?
But you wouldn't say they won by luck.
No, you wouldn't. But he's a guy that I'm pretty sure his DNA is he wants to throw teams in the sleeper. Yeah. And when they pass out, that's it, right?
Well, that's because that's who they were before.
Right.
But this team might not have those guys.
Right. And I think that's just not his mentality either as, an elite defensive coach. That's not how he wants to win. Because think about it. When you win shootouts, you're allowing a team to hang around longer than what you want. So his mentality
shootouts are always coin flips.
Exactly. He doesn't want that.
Yeah. To me, shootouts are always coin flips, right? When you have a good defense and you're commanding in the game, you more likely are to control your destiny in that game, right? Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's what I think. But it's gonna be interesting, and I'm wondering how is the rest of the way going to shake out for Tennessee. They're obviously a talented team, but you got to wonder, like, okay, how can they bounce back from this? I mean, well, who they have next? They got UAB, so that should be easy work. Then Mississippi State, then Arkansas. So really, it's they got 4 weeks. They got about a month until they play Alabama, and then Alabama, then Kentucky, Oklahoma, New Mexico State, Florida, and Vanderbilt. So a manageable schedule for Tennessee. So, I mean, this is a team that was in the 12-team playoff last year. They ran into the buzzsaw, but, so did everybody else. But they have a manageable schedule. They probably could get back to the playoff this year. That they being Tennessee. So it should be interesting. I don't know.
Dude, are you able to hear me, Bruce?
I can hear you, Sneak. Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So definitely, should be interesting. But yeah, I've been curious for a little minute on what Georgia is going to be going forward and whether or not that window closed for them.
Let's see if any of their wins against those better teams that are up and coming on the schedule, let's see if they reassert themselves defensively. Let's see if they kind of reform that identity the way that we kind of, look at the way the coach wants to play and how he wants to win and those kind of things.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's take a couple calls and then we'll get to the final topic, which I'm sure people are interested in as well. All right. You guys know the number.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. Go ahead, give us a call and give us your thoughts on the SEC shootout, the game that did not look like an SEC game between Georgia and Tennessee. What you think Georgia is going to be going forward? Is their window closed in terms of winning championships with Kirby Smart? I mean, he does have 2, though, and not a lot of coaches can say that. And he got him back to back. Obviously, you get that taste, you want more, so we'll see.
The problem with the losses, like you were talking about Tennessee, now they're like on the back burner, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to be kind of like chilling in the background until further notice, right? Which would be like, more towards November.
Mm-hmm.
So we're I don't want to call them secondary teams, focus on all the guys that are still undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, well, looks like we may not get any calls on this, so we're gonna keep it moving. Easy work. All right, final topic. The Manning meltdown. Sneed, I know you've seen how relatively poorly Arch Manning is playing based on the hype that surrounded him, and we know what a lot of the hype comes from, right? Obviously, his name, the program he's playing for, his what he was supposed to be coming out of high school, all the training he's supposed to have had since he was 10 years old, working with David Cutcliffe, who coached, I think he was Peyton Manning's quarterbacks coach at Tennessee. He coached Eli Manning at Ole Miss, and he's been working with Arch, again, supposedly since he was 10. They say that some people want to say Arch had lower level of competition in high school, which oddly enough it's like I said, it's kind of weird because he went to the same high school as Peyton, Eli, and Cooper, and nobody said that about them, but okay, whatever.
Sounds like something 2025, right?
Right. But at the end of the day, Arch Manning has played 3 games now. He has 579 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 picks, and a QBR less than 50, 49.6. Thoughts, man? Because, thoughts.
I'll just begin and end with this.
Okay.
Arch Manning is doing his damage as a runner.
Isn't that crazy?
He's hurting teams with his feet and not the arm. A Manning is beating up teams. Well, I don't even want to see beating up teams like 27-10 is cool, but it's like 1 TD, 1 pick. 11 of 25 for 114 yards.
At one point, missing 10 straight throws and getting booed by his own fans.
What's inspiring? Week 1 against the Buckeyes, accuracy issues. You're talking about 10 consecutive incompletions? UTEP's defense, what am I missing something here?
Yeah.
Where are we at with this right now? So you had this conversation about pedigree and who he is and competition, and this guy's only hurting teams with his feet. I mean, even not last week's game, but the game before, which I already forgot who they played, but he was hurting them on the ground. He was rushing for TDs.
Right.
I'm not encouraged. I haven't seen anything to say, well, I've got some new confidence in him. Because remember, week 1, we were like, okay, Buckeyes, great defense. Let's give some of that credit to Ohio State for making his life hard.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now people are talking about Arch being injured. Are we really doing that? Is that why he's throwing for 100 yards?
There's that whole thing of, they saw him noticeably grimace when he threw the ball, and he looks like he's actually in pain. I don't know. But at the end of the day, guess what, though? You're out there
They're starting him.
That's right. That's right. You got to perform.
So that to whom much is given,
that's right.
Much is expected. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Arch Manning. This is Texas Longhorns.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Manning. This is a big time prospect as a guy that they brought in to lead their program.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen any indication that he's going to beat any good teams.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. So I'm not going to say that Steve's right,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe I need to say that Steve is right so far.
So far he is.
Yeah.
So far he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we can argue that he's right so far.
Arch Manning is beating teams with his feet, bro, and he's not throwing the ball well. This is crazy to me.
Not at all. Yeah, no, it really doesn't add up because this is not what you would have expected from that guy. Like I said.
So what's Sark thinking to himself right now, Bruce?
I don't know.
What is he saying?
He's thinking there's no way I can bench this kid with the amount of NIL money he's making. Right? His NIL evaluation is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
He's also thinking if he figures it out, he'll come back next year. So that's better for me, Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is man,
like the vibes ain't good right now, Bruce.
No,
the vibes, right?
No.
So if you're a Longhorns fan and you were booing him at the game,
yeah,
and they're 2-1, so they've won 2 games since they lost the opening week.
Mm-hmm.
You're like winning, but like it has nothing to do with his arm talent, and you're not really seeing a progression through the weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If he is injured, at what point are you going to say, let's give him a couple games to heal? If he really is injured.
Right.
Or you just want him to play through it and throw through it? All right. Okay. Well, live with the results when you play a good team and he gets cooked and what if he gets blasted from like an NFL prospect defensive end in the next couple of weeks and he falls on his shoulder or something?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just thinking about this and I'm like, a lot of people were saying, oh, he's all hype, he's overhyped, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And then I was thinking, okay, after the Ohio State game, like we said, we gave him grace based on the conditions and all that. And then I'm thinking, okay, he's got some games against some cupcakes where he can kind of get things figured out and get to be the guy that everyone expects him to be going into the game in the swamp in October. Well, it doesn't appear that even that's going to be the case. I don't know.
What does he have? 5 rushing TDs?
You know what? Let me see.
How many passing TDs does he have?
He's got 6 passing TDs.
So his ratio is almost 1-to-1 passing to rushing TDs.
Oh, let's see how many rushing he's got.
Like seriously, I think it was week 2.
He's got 3. He's got 3.
So he had 2 rushing TDs week 2 and another rushing TD week 3.
Yeah.
That's a lot for a guy you didn't bring in to do this.
So here's the question. I wonder, are Eli and Peyton or one or the other or some amalgam of both like helping him with the film and the playbook and all that? I mean, obviously they can't get out there for him, but helping him, in terms of his film study, what he's seeing, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Do they have Cutcliffe doing it? Because obviously Sark is his coach and they have their own coaches. They have a quarterback's coach. They have an OC that I'm sure he's working with them as much as time allows in college, right?
We've questioned his mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't do that often on this show.
Right.
That's not really a conversation we have when we're talking about the NFL games, when we're talking about college. We don't really question mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we questioning his?
How would a Manning have poor passing mechanics? Explain that to me.
I'm not even a guy that really knows mechanics because I didn't play quarterback when I played football.
Mm-hmm.
I was a skills player. I wasn't a quarterback or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you kind of know when you see it if something looks janky or off.
Right.
It's just like, okay, that's not normal. That's like different, unorthodox, whatever. And then you look at the outcome, you look at the ball placement, and it's not there. Right. Like, he has trouble with like certain routes are like difficult for him to pinpoint the location of the throw.
Yeah.
If I could give one of his receivers truth serum, I'd love to know what they think.
Right. Because you know what? There's probably a backup in that quarterback room who's hungry. Like, damn, I know I can do better than this, but I'm never going to get out there.
Or he's probably like, I can do that.
Oh, right. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
The questioning, the doubts, all that's going to get louder.
Oh yeah.
As time passes on, right? So it's September 16th.
Mm-hmm.
What's this conversation September 30th?
Yeah.
What's this conversation October 15th?
Yeah.
If we
And you know
continue
what?
to see this.
At what point are you going to say, because Texas has national championship hopes, so at what point are you going to say, man, I think maybe we need to give somebody else a shot here that gives us a better opportunity?
Now, that's definitely premature, but, I mean, we have to kind of put that out there.
Yeah. I mean,
because these
you would
games, they
assume,
could be, if they were good teams, these guys are 0-3.
That's right. That's right. You would assume Texas is a competitive environment in their college football program, right? You know, they're paying a ton of money.
Who did Arch beat out for this starting quarterback spot? Was there like another guy who was like neck and neck with him for competing?
No, it was pretty much
like, remember, it was Notre Dame, it was Ohio State. They all kind of announced their starting quarterbacks like late in the preseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was kind of known that Arch was the quarterback in waiting for Texas. It's been known like.
So what do you have there? I mean, we don't even know. Do we have any Texas people that watch the content?
I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't heard anyone say it. So you know that Texas's quarterbacks are going to be highly recruited guys. You know,
out of Texas.
Yeah. Matthew Caldwell, he's a senior.
Is he a 4-star guy? Is he a 5-star guy?
Looking, never heard of the guy, so he might be one of those guys that maybe he was a 4 or 5-star coming up. I mean, he's at Texas, so he had to have been highly rated coming out of high school, right?
Texas leading receiver last week was Christian Clark with 2 receptions for 32 yards.
That's terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, I mean, they got James Simon had 17 carries. Jarek Gibson had 18 carries, and Arch carried it 9 times.
Yeah.
I mean, they're running the ball.
Right. So they got
Christian Clark. Christian Clark is a running back. That their leading receiver was a running back? Is that right?
Jeez.
Hold on a second, bro. Who is it? He's a running back.
Mm-hmm.
Their third string running back led the team in receiving last week.
Hey, yikes.
Yeah, that's concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to put up the red, hit the red button. I don't know, man. I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Are they off this week, or do they play?
I was still looking at the quarterbacks on the roster. Okay. So they've got a senior who has gotten like no time and been like 3 other schools. And they've got 2 freshmen. So I think they're going to have to ride with Arch. There is not a viable, person to step in here. No, they've got 3 freshmen and a senior. Yeah, they don't.
We gotta look at the rest of the next few games.
Yeah.
You have Sam Houston, so that's a win. That's an 8:00 game. He should throw for a few TDs. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Texas at Florida. That was supposed to be a bigger game. Florida's kind of fallen out of favor. They're no longer ranked.
I think Billy Napier might not make it through the season. Really. Yeah, I think he's done. And now you got John Gruden saying that he died a coach in the SEC. And now there's rumors that, Billy Napier gets fired. They're going to look
I've heard that. So then
or John Gruden.
Yeah. The Oklahoma game is on October 11th.
No. Yeah, Oklahoma. That's right.
I don't think Texas is going to win that game.
I don't think so either. I was about to say, I think Oklahoma is going to beat them.
And at that point, you can question whether or not Texas should be ranked in the top 10 or even the top 15.
Yeah.
I know they have a good defense. I get it.
Right.
But we got teams that have good defenses and offenses that are ranked in the top 15 that could probably take that spot in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
They have a game against Vanderbilt in November. They have the Georgia game. They're going to get their asses kicked. Arch is going to look like a fish out of water if he can't throw TDs.
Yeah.
And then the final game of the year against the Aggies, they'll embarrass him if he can't show out.
Yep, that's a rivalry game too. So yeah,
I'm
that's
not saying Arch can't pull through and get better. I'm just saying so far there's no indication. Yeah, there's nothing for me to go off and be like, yeah, I'm encouraged by this. Rushing TDs, you ain't Tim Tebow, dog.
No, you're
like
not.
The offense isn't designing these runs.
No,
he's just leaving the pocket. Yeah. No,
so definitely.
He might be the biggest disappointment so far this year, Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think might is the word. I think yes, he is. Single player, yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure somebody over somewhere is pissed about Notre Dame, but whatever.
Well, I was about to say, as a team, maybe they're right up there with that.
Yeah.
But as an individual, yeah, I think Arch is the biggest disappointment so far. I agree.
The one thing I've always been able to kind of notice that you like just a tendency that you do, Bruce, you like to take the loud majority about a player. And when that player doesn't produce, you really dig in. So Arch deserves it.
Yes.
Yeah, he deserves it.
He does. I mean, he's, like we said, it's not his fault he's gotten all the hype, but he's benefited from it. He hasn't gone out looking for it, but he has benefited from it, and he hasn't come close to living up to it. So yeah, he deserves what he's getting right now. And
you can control who you are.
Plays better. Yeah.
You can control who you are as a player. You can't control your name.
No, you can't.
But if you played better, this wouldn't be a conversation. Bro, where are the dimes? Where are the throws where you're just like, oh, wow, that was amazing? We don't have any of that, bro.
No, he doesn't. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure he's gone through this his whole life,
Yeah.
with being who he is. But yeah, there's just no way around this until he plays better. Like, that's all there is to it.
Protecting him? Like, no. I'm not that connected. Are people protecting him?
I don't see that. Obviously his coach is, because that's what a coach is supposed to do. But
sure,
I don't think so. I think everyone is out there saying, hey, do better. And to his credit, he's standing in front of the microphone saying, I've got to play better. So I'll give him credit for that. He's not hiding,
I don't feel good about Arch right now, Bruce.
I don't either. I was just saying, to his credit, at least he's, manning up and not hiding, not making excuses. He's saying, I've got to do better. I've got to be better for us to, have an opportunity at the success we think we're capable of having. So
I kind of wish we had some Texas Longhorn folks that tuned in.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to hear what they have to say, and then kind of what they would want to see moving forward.
For sure.
Hey, I'm on cloud 9 with my Buckeyes, bro. I'm chilling.
Yeah. No, they're doing what they're supposed to do to this point. See, what's their schedule looking like the rest of the way? Ohio, Washington. Okay. Minnesota, Illinois. That's going to be a good game. Wisconsin, Penn State. Obviously, that's a game Penn State's going to lose again. Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, Michigan. That's the one. That's always that game is always such a pleasure to watch.
It's in Michigan, isn't it?
It's at Michigan,
yeah.
Sharon Moore, he's gonna have to come up with something different this time. He's not gonna be able to goad Ryan Day into playing in a phone booth again. Ryan Day's he's not gonna fall for that again. He got him last year, and that's how he did what he did, but it's not gonna happen again.
I think the most important element of a Michigan-Ohio State showdown this year, and we're far away from it. It's like Thanksgiving week, isn't it?
29th, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be Ohio State's defense. Like, that's going to be the most important thing for that game. It's going to be Ohio State's defense. So, like,
well, man, Matt Patricia's going to have a lot of wrinkles to fool the young freshman.
I gotta watch some Michigan football before I kind of figure out like how Ohio State's gonna play that. We're just so far away. It's like,
yeah, but I think there's gonna be a whole lot that he holds back, him being Matt Patricia, to really confuse what the freshman is gonna see, Bryce Underwood. Like, and that's what you should do. You don't want to give him film to study. You want him to get out there and be like, I don't know what I'm looking at, So yeah, that's going to be tough sledding for the young fella.
You know what else we should do before we get off here, Bruce, is
What's that, man?
take a look at some of the better games for this week. Because with little skimpy, there's some bye weeks and stuff like that. So let's kind of see what the better games are and maybe look at some of those kind of.
Yeah, normally we do that, but this schedule was so weak coming up. It's like, so actually in the Big 12, Utah versus Texas Tech, number 16 versus number 17. Should be a good game. Texas Tech spent a lot of money this offseason. I think they have some billionaire that's really bankrolling the program now in terms of NIL and all that. They spent a lot of money, so they're okay. But we also know, man, Utah, Kyle Whittingham is a really good coach. Utah is physical. They play tough. That's what they do. So this one is interesting. Clemson is not ranked, but they're in big trouble. They're 1-2 right now, and they got this game against Syracuse. They have to win. They're not
in my
ranked.
opinion, Bruce.
Yeah.
One of the most cringe coaches in college football,
Dabo?
When he's uncomfortable, is Dabo. You can see him squirming. It's like visual. Like, you remember Saban when he was uncomfortable? It looked unnatural. I see the same thing, Dabo. He doesn't look comfortable.
I mean, you're not supposed to look comfortable when you're losing, right? But I hear what you're saying, though.
He's a championship coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What else we got? Let's see. Okay, Oklahoma. Auburn at Oklahoma. Number 22 Auburn at number 11 Oklahoma. That should be decent. Check that one out. Obviously, I'll be watching Purdue at Notre Dame. Probably not a game many people care about at this point, but I'll be watching it. Let's see. Florida at Miami. I think Florida's going to get monkey stomped.
Miami looks good. Miami looks good.
They are good. Yeah, absolutely.
Looks good.
Yeah, physical, fast. They brought South Florida back to earth. I think they beat them like 49-14. After South Florida opened up with a win at Boise, then a win at Florida, they brought them back to earth. Said, "Okay, hold on, young fella, you're not there yet."
They got the evening game against Florida, and then they got the Seminoles 2 weeks after that.
That's going to be a big game.
Yeah,
because Florida State's back. They're good. Okay, here's a good one in the Big Ten. Illinois, number 9 Illinois at number 19 Indiana.
There you go.
That's a good game there.
Indiana's tough.
Yeah, but I think Illinois is going to beat them. Brett Bielema has done a really good job. Good defense, physical team, run the football. He's building like a little Wisconsin there in Illinois. I like it.
In my opinion, we might have a couple of undefeated teams this year going into the playoff.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. And I think Miami might be one of them. They might. I mean, if they beat Florida State, like, the possibility is real. So that's the one. They find a way to win that one. They're not afraid of any other team standing in front of them getting an undefeated record the rest of the year.
Right. No, great point. Yeah, good football.
They beat Notre Dame week 1. They beat BCU last week, 2 weeks ago, and then South Florida last week.
Yeah.
So Florida this week, we would expect them to win, and then Florida State. I'm telling you, Bruce, that's the game. If they win, they're probably going undefeated.
That's going to be a huge game, Miami and Florida State. That game hasn't been that big in some years now.
It's been a while.
It's going to be
and then every time they played, even when they've been ranked, one or the other was definitively better, even though they were both ranked.
Right.
So they might go undefeated, Bruce.
Yeah, it's very possible. Very possible. But I think that's it for week 4. Not a lot of great games on the slate, but it's still college football, and there's a lot of games. And, somewhere there's going to be some upset or something crazy that happens. It's college football.
We should discuss Heisman. Like, what's the favorites like? Let's take a look at that.
Okay.
We're 3 weeks in. Most teams have played 3 weeks. 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, so the Heisman thing, that's actually like up in the air, right? Because it was supposed to be Arch Manning and Cade Klubnik. So now it's like, who's it going to be? You know what I mean? Let's see if I can find it.
When they were talking about Arch, I'm just like, after watching him week 1, I'm like, there's no way. Like,
I guess it may be Garrett Nussmeier now, but he didn't even have a great game last week. Okay, so week 4.
LSU?
Yeah, top Heisman contenders. Okay, Carson Beck, 812 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 78.3% completion percentage. Led Miami to 3-0 with 2 ranked wins. Okay, John Mateer, Oklahoma. Yeah, that kid's nice. 944 passing yards, 161 rushing yards, 9 total TDs. Dante Moore from Oregon, 657 passing yards, 7 TDs, 1 interception. Gunnar Stockton, Georgia, 281 plus total yards per game, 7 touchdowns, 0 picks. Marcel Reed, A&M, climbed rankings after leading upset win over Notre Dame.
That's a nice statistic, Bruce. 7 TDs, no picks.
Yeah, it is.
That's a nice stat.
No, it is. Lenore Sellers, South Carolina. So, yeah, I don't, if you ask me, man, I don't think there's any clear favorite for the Heisman at all. Like, this would be one of those years somebody's going to have to come out of nowhere and go take it.
It was supposed to be Arch, and he's not even close.
Right. Then if it wasn't Arch, it was Cade Klubnik. Or if it wasn't him, then it's Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. So, yeah, you got a lot of names. This should be interesting. But none of them really blow me away in terms of, oh, this guy is so awesome. You know, he's got to win the Heisman. So, I don't know.
Might be none of those guys that end up winning the Heisman. Right, who knows?
Right. Who knows? Yeah, somebody might pop out of nowhere. So, yeah, we'll see. But, yeah, we're going to leave it right there. We're going to leave it right there. Great talking college football with you, Sneed. Appreciate it, man.
Good to be here. Pleasure, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Week 4, enjoy it, guys. You know, not the best slate of games, but again, it's college football, and we love college football, man. Watching college football all day on Saturday is always awesome.
What's the next show, Bruce?
Tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Do we have
a normal Wednesday night show? Not yet.
All right, we got to figure that out, man.
Yeah, working on it.
It's been really good talking football, man. Really,
it is so good. And real talk. I was telling, I don't know who I was talking to, but it's really and truly been so refreshing not having to talk about he who shall not be named all the time. Like,
well, the off season in that sport's kind of like, it's not it. It's a lot of he say, she say.
Yeah, there's a lot of channels that's still doing a lot of talking about, you know, that and things going on with that player.
I don't unsubscribe from channels, but like there's certain channels I just won't watch many videos from during those off seasons because they're just not good videos or streams, like beating the dead horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're entertaining, but like I said, it's been real cool just taking a break from that. Definitely. What's up, Edward? How can I help you, man? What's up?
What is that, Joel versus the Joker?
We were arguing offline today because I said that Embiid is better than Jokic when he's on the floor, and he
I mean, that's a fine statement. It's just never happening.
Right, he's not on the floor. Edward says to me, "What is he better at?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What is he better at? He's better at shot blocking, man on defense. He's right there, if not better at scoring. Like, and when they play against each other, like he always gets the better. Like, look at the numbers when they play head to head. But again, you know, at the end of the day, man, 3 MVPs is hard to argue against. So
he's always there.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, that's everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, availability,
best ability. Yeah, and he plays in a scheme that allows him to do a lot of things. But regardless, he's an outstanding player. I just don't like the hyperbolic nature of the discussion and where they place him among all-time bigs. But look, this is a college football show. We're not doing all that. So,
Bruce, do you think that fans get trapped in the moment of the sensationalism of players? Yes. I think it just might be some of that.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
I mean, because he is great. It's undeniable. But maybe it's just that whole like, well, maybe we haven't seen a really, really good center in a long time. So like, this is amazing to us, you know? Because like people say they're like, oh, I haven't seen a center this good in so long. I'm like, because you didn't watch Akeem.
Well, we're not
because you didn't watch David Robinson. Because you didn't watch Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
You know, because you didn't. So like to you, this is like
Oh my
Bigfoot.
gosh.
Yeah, you're seeing like Bigfoot running up the hill with the shaky
Sure.
video footage. You
For
know.
sure. Yeah.
To me, I'm just like I saw guys like that.
Yeah.
You know, that were as great as that.
Yep. But we're gonna leave it right there, guys, because that could be a whole nother rabbit hole, and we don't want to go in there because that could get crazy. And then, you know, we're gonna have Edward calling in whining because, you know, he doesn't respect anything from the past generation and blah blah blah. So we're gonna leave all that alone. We enjoyed talking college football with you guys. Appreciate you being here. Sneed, thanks for being here. You guys know what to do, man. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe on the SMT Media Network as well. And we'll see you tomorrow night. And we out. Peace.